quite some big news from around the world, but a few of them are very sweet, as the United States backtracking from labeling China as a currency manipulator. But the tech war is still on 5G by Huawei. So the US is asking the UK government or the British government not to use Huawei's 5G. So what is this fight still all about? Juliana Layinka, my colleague from our London studios. Hey, Juliana, good morning. Let's get this conversation around the 5G network. What's the business of the United States asking the British government not to deal with Huawei 5G network here? What is it about? Why is it called? Why is it such a? What's this big deal about it?
Good morning, Bosun. What's certainly a big deal for the US. They've even threatened to not share intelligence with Britain if indeed it does go and inject some Huawei infrastructure into the building of its 5G network. Yesterday, the Deputy National Security Chief handed over some more information, a dossier which Washington had compiled, basically as a last-ditch effort to try and convince Britain not to use Huawei. Of course, they did say the top line was, it would be a spate of madness. They even went further on to say it would basically be like giving the Russians in charge of your anti-doping scheme. So that's just how strongly they feel about it. But look, Huawei and Britain, they've had a relationship for about 15 years. When it was the 3G network, the 4G network, there were Huawei components put into that. And they do have quite a strong relationship with the government. When the US did an all-out ban on Huawei, Theresa May, the then Prime Minister, did take on Donald Trump's suggestions and his complaints, and they did have a national security discussion about it, but they all voted in favour of allowing at least some components of Huawei's 5G infrastructure into developing the British network. So the reason why the discussions have been ramped up is because, of course, Britain have been more focused on Brexit. Now that that seems to be clearing out of the desks, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, is likely to make a decision at the end of the month. But the fact that, Washington have said that they will stop sharing intelligence information if we're using Huawei will be, of course, a lot of food for thought for Boris Johnson.
There's always this diplomatic, whatever, government face-off and whatever all over. Then it's good businesses get caught in the middle sometimes and all of that. So it's understandable. But again, you have Huawei on one hand, then you have the US, China on the other hand, with the currency issue. So where is the pound sterling right now as Washington backtracks and removes the currency manipulator label from the chest of Beijing?
Well, definitely, the fact that they've taken off that label as a currency manipulator was good for equities markets overnight. The FTSE here in the city opened slightly higher at about 6 points. And at the moment, the pound is trading flat against the dollar at about it's worth about $1.29. But of course, all eyes are going to be on tomorrow, where phase one of the embattled trade deal will be signed. So it's a good sign that, they've reduced the label, even though, the Federal, not the Federal Reserve, the IMF and Europe didn't really take it seriously. It shows that we could potentially be getting somewhere. And yes, it was reflected in the equities market. But of course, a low pound is really good for the equities also.
And this is stepping into the very interesting world of money and sports, football. So this is the league is out there, but the latest Deloitte survey shows that Barcelona or Barca FC has beaten Manchester United, Man City, Liverpool. Is it Tottenham? Some of the biggest UK names on the field when it comes to Tottenham in terms of revenue. So what's happening to the big names in the UK football? Why is it difficult to make revenue as much as the European folks?
Listen, Bosun, I had a look at those figures. I've got them written down because anytime we discuss sport, I always get something wrong. But they're still making a lot of money. Yes, Barcelona are now, according to Deloitte's Money League, the richest football club in the world. Last year, they made 840 million euros. It's the first time a football club has gone over that 800 million euros benchmark. And but Manchester United came in third. So you had Real Madrid in second, Manchester United third, and Manchester United made 711 euros, which is significant because sports fans will know that Manchester United are nowhere near the top of the league, so they're still bringing in the big bucks. But if you read behind the headlines, one of the reasons why they say the Spanish leagues, particularly, well, the Spanish clubs, particularly Barcelona, is making money is because they've now cut out the third parties. So before, and what's typical in the UK, is that you've got a lot of third-party organisations selling your merchandise. Barcelona bosses decided to take it away from them and bring all of that merchandise inside, and that saved them an extra 300 million euros. So, of course, if you would take that away, there'd be about 500 million euros. So they would be behind the big British clubs. So, you know, there'll be a lot of food for thought. I'm sure the UK clubs will be looking at Barca's success and perhaps bringing all of their products in-house. Also, as well, I must say, sponsorship had a lot to do with this as well. They said, you know, you've got the big name sponsors, of course, you're going to be making loads of money.
I know. I had tried to stay away from football. Folks could get a really lot of frenzy around it, whatever it is. So whoever is beating whoever in terms of the gate takings on the field of play, I try to sit in front of the couch and hold my remote control, and I just decide to do what I want with it. Thank you so much. Have a great day, Juliana. Whoever you are rooting for on the field of play, help them count the money. I mind their business. That's all. The money is all that matters to me.